In some ways, XMP was a precursor to C2PA, largely for JPEGs,
Yeah.
largely built from the camera industry and the journalism industry to be able to ensure that certain data could be consistently written into JPEG files, such that data could then, it's in the same way, make it through these pipelines. But again, what did you need? You needed software. You needed anything that was going to interact or re-encode a file in any way, shape, or form to know and to care about exif. You also need that for XMP. You're going to need that for C2PA. And anything in the system that doesn't causes a break, right? The minute that file gets re-encoded by something that doesn't follow the rules, and this happens with exif and XMP today everywhere. So those efforts, while widespread, never made it fully widespread. And unfortunately, social media platforms never picked up on any of them. Social media platforms recreate new files and don't bring that data forward. And that's been a huge challenge for forensics specifically, but for everybody. And now we're facing the result of that. Now the largest media providers in the world are social media platforms, and they don't persist any of this data. So they're going to have to get on board with C2PA for this to work. Right, they're going to have, in the way that they didn't get on board with exif and they didn't get on board with XMP, they're going to have to get on board with C2PA for it to work. And ideally, they go back and get on board with all three, right? Because there are lots of files that'll never make it to C2PA data, but do have exif or do have XMP data in them that has provenance information that's just getting totally laundered day in and day out from social media applications on devices, on computers, and then on the web.
Given how impactful social media now is on politics and policy and decision making, it's almost like everything else can lag behind. They need to be the first ones on the platform.
They've got to. They got to be. That's our target when we go out and try to really discuss strategies for improving this challenge for the general public. It's the entry points for social media that are the targets. Like, that's the largest amount of media that gets out to the public eye comes through these very controlled entry points of social media platforms. I mean, there's some people like to say, it's not their responsibility, but I think it's significantly their responsibility to do something at those endpoints prior to normalizing and laundering file.